Good evening, everybody. It's now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Can you please all stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Please put your right hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Clerk Magallanes, can you please call roll?
Chair Henderson,
Here.
Vice Chair Elise,
Here.
Commissioners Jones, here. Lujan,
Here.
Olivares.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Clerk Magallanes, can you please read the Public Comment Code of Conduct?
Ladies and gentlemen, may I please have your attention? The meeting of this body is now in order. A code of conduct will now be read, and we request that you comply with it to ensure the efficient administration of the meeting. Members of the public, it is your right to participate in today's meeting, and this meeting body encourages such participation. However, the right of the public to address the body must be balanced with the need to ensure that public comment does not interfere with the orderly course of this body's business. All are reminded to abide by the following rules. Speakers must cease speaking immediately when their time has ended. Public comment on agenda items must relate to the subject matter of that item. General public comment is limited to subjects within the jurisdiction of the body. Public comment does not include the right to engage in a dialogue with members of this body or staff. Please remain respectful of the forum and refrain from uttering, writing, or displaying profane, personal, threatening, derogatory, demeaning, or other abusive statements towards the members of this body, staff, or any other person. Members of the audience should be respectful of the views expressed by speakers, staff, and members of this meeting body, and may not excessively clap, cheer, whistle, or otherwise disrupt the orderly conduct of the meeting. Any person engaging in conduct that disrupts the meeting is subject to being removed from the meeting. Finally, if you witness conduct or behavior by other members of the public that disrupts your ability to remain engaged or participate in this meeting, please notify city staff. Thank you for your cooperation.
Okay, that brings us to item number 4, which is non-agenda public comments. So now is the time for public participation on items that are not listed on the agenda. Each speaker will be allotted 2 minutes total. Clerk Magallanes, do you have any speaker cards for the non-agendized items? Okay, and we'll move on then to public comments. Now is the time for public participation on items listed on the consent calendar. Each speaker will be allotted 2 minutes total for entirety for the agenda. Clerk Magallanes, do we have any speaker cards pertaining to the consent calendar?
I do not.
Okay, thank you. All matters under the consent calendar will be enacted in one motion unless items are pulled by the commissioners. In this case, items will be removed from the consent calendar and will be considered separately following this portion of the agenda. We have 2 items on our consent calendar tonight. One is 6A, full reading of resolutions to be considered and voted on in the meeting. This allows for the reading of the title in lieu of reciting the entire text. And 6B is approval of the minutes from the Planning Commission meeting of February 8th. Commissioners, would you like to pull any items from the consent calendar? Commissioners, can I get a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar?
Motion.
Okay, all right, I have a motion
Second.
and a second. Please, well, this will be a voice vote. Okay, so everybody in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, motion passes with 5 yes votes. All right, commissioners, are there any discussions or conflicts of interest on any of the items on this public hearing agenda, starting with agenda item 7A?
I have a conflict of interest on item 7A and will recuse myself.
All right, Commissioner Lujan, please step out of the room temporarily while we work on 7A. Okay, Kirk Magallanes, can you please read the first item title for the record?
Okay. We have 7A, adopt resolution number PC 2024, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Palmdale recommending City Council approve density bonus agreement 240002, approving tentative track map 83359, and adopting the mitigated negative declaration and mitigation monitoring and reporting program prepared for the project.
Okay, for this item, staff presentation will be by Brenda Magana, Planning Manager.
Okay, I apologize. I think there was did I have it? Do I have it here? It's correct on the screen. Okay, my apologies.
Oh.
Okay, so for the record, it is adopt resolution number PC 2024-005, recommending City Council approval of major modification 240003, and find that the environmental impacts of the proposed project are addressed by the environmental impact report and subsequent addendum prepared for the Ana Verde Nuevo specific plan.
Aha, that was a little switcheroo. Okay, that threw us off because these items were switched on the agenda, and last minute they got switched. All right. So, well, we're not ready for public speaking yet, sir.
Nope.
We have a staff presentation by Brenda Magana, Planning Manager.
No, Eric Norris will be giving.
Oh, well, okay, there it is. There's a bunch of switcheroos on this agenda. Okay.
I'm just glad it's this item. You ever had that dream where you didn't study for the test?
Unfortunately, we studied for the test, but they changed the test.
So, my name is Eric Norris. As Brenda mentioned, I'm here with your staff representing the City of Palmdale, and I'll be giving you a brief staff report on the proposed project. So, again, just to reiterate, we're here for major modification 24-0003. I'll talk to you in a minute about why that's coming to you, or as a recommendation, and then ultimately to the council. So the proposal is to amend conditions of approval for an existing approved tentative track map number 61894 regarding the timing of some infrastructure improvements and a few other details about road widths and so on. Up on the screen here, and this is all, by the way, in the Ana Verde specific plan, the general location of that map is shown with a star, and the road in question, Bridge Road and a future bridge over the aqueduct, are shown in the red box up there. Both of those, by the way, are outside of the boundaries of the map, but they're part of the overall infrastructure for Ana Verde. So a little bit of background. This tentative map was originally approved in 2005 as part of what was then called the City Ranch Specific Plan. At that time, with the approval of both of those, a final EIR was prepared and certified by the City Council. Following that, because we're now obviously several years after the original approval of the map, variety of different state and local time extensions were granted. That map currently is set to expire now this year in November. In 2021, so we're coming a little closer to the present, the specific plan was amended. At that time, it was then renamed Ana Verde, so that's the name that we know it by now. And the conditions of approval for this tentative map were amended at the same time to match the newly amended specific plan. Both of those items happened at the City Council level, which is why they will ultimately make the decision to change the conditions. So that would normally stop at the Planning Commission, but because the Council approved those in the first place, they amend them now that they're being asked to be changed. At that time also, an addendum to the original final EIR was approved, which now brings us up to today. So really quickly, the Ana Verde specific plan allows a little under 3,500 dwelling units to date. Almost half of those have been built, a little over 1,600. The entitled but not constructed units, which basically are the units in this map, are 448. So the total number of unconstructed units, which includes the map, is 1870. It's going to give you a feel for where we are in the development of the specific plan. So the applicant is proposing to change some of the conditions. These are all shown in red line in Exhibit B to the resolution. So if you want to look at any of the details here, but in general, what they're doing is shown up on the screen here. So currently, there are conditions of approval which require a couple of things. One is that the plans for that bridge over the aqueduct have to be submitted and approved prior to the 112th dwelling unit in this tentative map. The applicant is proposing to push that further into the future to the 448th dwelling unit. So the plans still get done, they just get done a little bit later. And then the next condition talks about the construction and opening of the bridge. Currently, that's supposed to happen before the 223rd dwelling unit in this map. They want to push that to the 518th dwelling unit. So again, the bridge gets built, but somewhat later than currently required. A few other conditions are proposed to be changed regarding the width of some roadways. Basically, they're trying to fit the entire roadway and median and so on onto the bridge. So they're requesting a 4-foot wide median, which is a little bit different than current city standards, and some other minor changes to right-of-way width. There's also a new condition that requires them to establish a community facilities district, or a CFD, to fund infrastructure, including the bridge road, and begin using that CFD to collect fees. So that, in a nutshell, is the applicant's proposal. Staff recommends approval of that. So our recommendation to the commission is that you approve Resolution PC 2024-005, recommending that the City Council approve the major modification and find that the impacts are addressed by the environmental impact report and the addendum originally approved for the Ana Verde specific plan. I'll be happy to answer any questions. The applicant is in the audience as well if you have any questions of him. And with that, I'll end my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we'll start out by opening the public hearing. Do we have any speaker cards on this item?
I do not, just the applicant.
Oh, okay. Then, Mr. Applicant, would you please come up and tell us about your project?
Thank you. Mr. Chair, members of the Planning Commission, my name's Rich Nolan. I'm the manager of the new Ana Verde property, also a board member of the Ana Verde HOA. And I'm here to say a couple things today. Number one, we concur with staff's recommendation. We think it's a good thing for the city. It's going to be good for the existing Ana Verde community as well as moving the Ana Verde project forward. We appreciate the work that Brenda and Eric and others at the city have put in to get this to a place today. I'm hoping today, with your concurrence, that we move forward, and next time you see me is we're inviting you to a groundbreaking. We have a builder right now that's ready to start out there, and this is kind of a big milestone for us to be able to move this project forward. And when I look at that history that Eric showed, it pains me because it's been so long, and we would like to move this thing to the next place. And I think most people, if not everybody in Ana Verde and the surrounding areas would like to see the same thing. So we appreciate your consideration tonight, and I'm here to answer any questions that might come up.
Thank you. If that pains you, the people from Ritter Ranch should be really in pain.
They're extra pain.
'Cause that's been way longer than Ana Verde.
Yeah.
Why is it now Nuevo Ana Verde instead of just Ana Verde?
You know what, when we reprocessed and tried to reset the plan up, we eliminated a lot of units. We made it a smaller footprint of development, so it's fewer units to meet the market today. So there's kind of an active adult, maybe a senior living kind of component to it. Just a different kind of program, less grading, less environmental impacts, things like that. So that's why we called it Nuevo Ana Verde. We'll all be part of the same homeowners association. but
Now, you mentioned a new committee, CFD, Facilities District. Isn't, and Anaverde already has a facilities district
it
out
does.
there.
Yep, it does.
So would that be stacked on top of the existing?
No, no. This will be a new community facilities district. It'll be approximately equal to what the existing homeowners out there pay. So we're trying to keep it very balanced. I think that was a request of the city council when we first came through this, to keep it balanced. You know, we talked about maybe eliminating it altogether, but they wanted to keep it balanced, so there was no tax rate differential between the two neighborhoods. Keeps everybody on the same page. So this CFD will be approximately the same as what the existing neighbor, Anaverde community has.
So the CFD that the existing people are already paying, that does not exist on the new project that we're talking about going forward?
No,
You'd have to do a brand new one so that it
Yes.
also has a CFD.
that's correct.
And that's,
There'll be no additional burden to existing neighbors or
okay.
existing community members whatsoever.
So all those houses that were already built, this is not a new CFD for them?
No.
Okay. Any other commissioners have questions for the applicant? Any other questions? Okay. All right, and I guess we'll close the public hearing. Oh, come on out. Okay.
Jason Zink.
All right, we'll unclose it and reopen the public hearing. Do you have a speaker slip?
Yeah, most time you have, you have the applicant come up here and speak, and then you ask for public comment.
Okay.
Okay, Jason Zink. My only comment is, you have a community up there, 2,000 homes, 2,000 units, and there's no swimming pool. Can you imagine living in Antelope Valley without a swimming pool? I want to raise the bar, raise the standard in Palmdale. We should have swimming pools in these big communities. We're going to talk about another project here with 190 some units. That project should be required to have a swimming pool. Can you imagine being a kid and not having a swimming pool? You know, you grew up here. Can you imagine the swimming pool, not having one in Corson Park? What's going on here? I'm sure all the residents would be willing to pay an extra money to have a swimming pool up there. We need higher standards. We just don't need developers to come in here. We don't need just housing tracts. We need livable lifestyle housing tracts. Now, this is a 55 and older community, these new developments, I don't know. So I think there just needs to be more information of what's going on, because I don't think the information is going to the public, from the developers, from the city, to the public. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any other speakers? All right, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners, any discussion? Nope, okay. All right, commissioners, can I get a motion and a second for item 7A, right, 7A? Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Oliveras and a second from Commissioner Jones. Please show your votes. Somebody, did you press the second? Ah, there we go. Motion is second, there we go. Let the record show, motion passes with 4 yes votes and 1 abstention. Okay, Commissioner Lujan is back, and we'll go on to 7B, formerly known as 7A. Where am I? Can we, Clerk Magallanes, can you please read the second item into the record?
Okay, item 7B, adopt resolution number PC 2024-004, a resolution of the Planning Commission of the City of Palmdale recommending the City Council approve Density Bonus Agreement 240002, approving tentative track map 83359, and adopting the mitigated negative declaration and mitigation monitoring and reporting program prepared for the project.
Do we have a staff presentation from Planning Manager Brenda Magana?
We do. Good evening, Commissioners. The item before you is Density Bonus Agreement 24-0002 and tentative track map 83359. The applicant is requesting to subdivide an approximately 20-acre parcel located on Palmdale Boulevard between 50th and 55th Street East. The request includes the subdivision of 66 parcels, 64 of which will be used for residential purposes, 1 will be used for a drainage facility, and 1 will be used as open space. A density bonus is an increase in the overall housing units that a developer may build on a site and existing for, including affordable housing. State density bonus law offers incentives that are to encourage the development of affordable housing. The project site has a general plan use, land use designation and zone of single-family residential 3. This is typical of your 7,000 square foot lot. 120 units are allowed, 64 single-family units, 120 units are the maximum allowed per the density allowed in the single-family residential 3 zone. 64 detached single-family residences are being proposed. 127 ADUs and JADUs for a total of 191 residential units. Under California Fair Housing laws, the proposed ADUs and JADUs are not subject to a jurisdiction's density requirements. The 2 concessions requested include to allow composite shingles for roofing material and to allow a reduction of the required garage width of 20 feet. This concludes staff's presentation. We recommend that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number PC 2024-004, recommending City Council approval of Agreement 24-0002, approving tentative track map 83359, and adopt the M&D and MMRP prepared for the project. Staff is available for any questions, and the applicant is available as well too.
Thank you very much, Planning Manager Magana. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing. Do we have speaker slips on this item?
I don't have a slip because I don't know how this works.
Okay.
We have speakers.
Just for the planning commission's edification, since we don't normally have this many people and we do have a new commissioner, I just wanted to remind everyone to let everyone talk first before you respond to them. So we'll hold the public hearing, everyone's gonna come up and talk, and then if you want to briefly respond, you can, but just hold any responses until the public has commented. So also for the public, so you know, no one's gonna respond to you after you speak, but they will after the public hearing has concluded.
So I have speaker slips here. Corinne Stevenson.
Hi, I'm 100% opposed to this. The area faces my front yard. Along with low-income housing comes riffraff, comes more criminals, comes all this other stuff, and I'm not stereotyping, nothing, but it's true. And as far as the composite shingles, because I am in roofing, that should be a no-go, should be tile out here. The environmental impact of the housing being so close, what about all of our Joshua trees? What about our wildlife? I don't want wildlife as in crazy people, I want my wildlife. It's just wrong, I don't want it, so I hope you guys go against it, thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Stevenson. Next speaker.
Dr. Monique Edwards-Greer.
Good evening, chairs, commissioner, staff. My name is Dr. Monique Edwards-Greer. I live in the neighborhood directly adjacent to this property, and I have been a victim of the development that was already approved and completed. I have paid over $9,000 of my own dollars due to damages caused from the construction of the first development that was approved. And I have personally reached out to Ravello Holdings. Whoever is here representing Ravello should know me. I have reached out numerous times and I have shared. Here, this is a photo I took from the window of my car on Palmdale Boulevard, and you can see there is limited visibility. Why? Because there was no mitigation of the dirt. And it doesn't matter that they post a sign to say if there's dirt to call, nobody responds. There was one attempt to secure the dirt, and it was after my personal numerous complaints. One time in the entire project site, and I have photos and videos. If you would like to see them, I am more than glad to share. This is a photo of my jacuzzi in my backyard. I paid $44,000 to build this pool and spa. And I have netted out of my own pocket over $9,000 to keep it because it was filled with dirt every few days. Every few days. There's another. And I have dozens to show. Aside from that, I would encourage you and to have staff work very closely with Ravello. This is what my filter should look like. This is what my filter looked like every single week. And I paid the price for it. My pump went out, I paid lots of money, and I've not been reimbursed, and I will be transparent and say I've threatened litigation about both. The road is ridiculous. It's missing asphalt. Go check it.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay,
We
next
have
speaker.
Carly Galasso.
Hi, I too am a resident on the same street as Mo. This project backs up to my home. I spoke to the developer once we got the initial letter in the mail. I called them, they told us buildings would be 5 feet from our back wall. They are about 3 feet 2 inches. So literally I can reach out and touch the roof of the house behind my back wall. The roads that they connected work like this, so every time you go through, there's trash completely all over the current neighborhood, which is only about at 30% occupancy, and all of that garbage is blowing into my backyard. I understand the need for low-income housing. I don't understand the area in which they put it. They put it in the middle of a bunch of $500,000 to $700,000 homes, thus decreasing our property values, bringing in more traffic into our neighborhood. I mean, they've already doubled the amount of cars that are going through our neighborhood. We ask that our development be segregated from this low-income housing. They won't close the development. They connected it straight into the streets of our neighborhood. We as a community are coming together. All of these chairs you see here, I'm sure you've never seen it this packed, are all from our neighborhoods opposing the continuation of this development. We strongly recommend that you vote against expanding this. There's already 171 of these units behind our neighborhood. There's no need for another 191 rentals in our neighborhood. Rentals do not keep up their property the same way as homeowners do. There is no property manager on site. There is nobody doing groundwork or maintenance. There's people already living in these homes, and there's no one for us to get a hold of. You call the phone numbers that are listed for this company, nobody answers the phone. This is not a good developer, and this is not somebody that we want to continue to bring in more business into our neighborhood. They should redevelop this somewhere else that's more in line with what they're looking for, as opposed to in our community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Galasso. We have next speaker.
Tori Hovis.
Well, that's me, but she took all my notes, so let me see what else I have to say, because she spoke really well. I guess I'm going to start by saying that our world turned upside down in October 2022, when we woke up to stuff being thrown in our backyard from them just grinding down plants. I was in the backyard, and here comes sticks just flying over the wall. That was the beginning of it. They have worked there since October 2022, 6 to 7 days a week, from 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. You could hear all of the construction. The amount of dirt that Mo's talking about, every one of us had that. 4 inches at least in my entire backyard, okay? My backyard faces it. Tell me how that dirt, well, we know how Palmdale works. It's windy, very windy out here. I had 4 inches of dirt in my front porch, which is all the way around my house. That's how much that dirt was blowing around and getting on everything. Then I went ahead and one day I was like, let me check my windowsills and my mini blinds. All of them thick inches of dirt. And we have our houses are not old. Our windows are pretty new. And that dirt was still able to get into our houses. Here's what I'm wondering. Are we all going to be sick in 15 to 20 years? Are we all going to find out we have some weird lung infection from that dirt that was picked up and thrown at us for a year and a half worth? There's cracks in that, in our stucco. Oh my goodness, the house shook so much. We leave our poor dog at home while we go to work, and we come home and she's shaking. We don't know why. We sit on the sofa. Oh, now I know why, because the whole house is shaking from them driving around and around and around. And I don't know what they do, is like level out the dirt, whatever it is. Anyways, for months and months and months, the house just kept shaking over and over. Crime is up. And I don't want to blame it on them. I'm not trying to say it could just be a coincidence. But crime is up in our neighborhood. We've had 2 windshields smashed in by males that climbed on top of cars. We have it on video. We've had, I'm trying to think what else there is. Oh yeah, somebody jumped over the wall into our neighbor's house. She couldn't be here. She's at a meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Hovis. Next speaker.
Jason Zink.
What we really have is we're really depending on you five to really be the people that create high standards for development in Palmdale. We need housing, but we need quality housing. We don't want to just survive, we want to thrive. And this project is just so bad. I blame the city of Palmdale more than the developer. We've seen what the developer built on Avenue S and 65th Street. Cheap, the cheapest block wall, the cheapest block everything, roof, everything, cheap. We don't want that, especially next to these people's house. Their house is the biggest investment of their life. And you're gonna put this next to it? That's not right. The staff, it says it's on 55th Street East. It's not, it's on 52nd Street East. I emailed all you guys the information. Dean, yours came back.
Oh, it did?
Yes.
Oh, because City of Palmdale one's messed up right now.
Yeah, so.
But I did get the item and I fixed it.
Okay.
I noticed it was supposed to be 50
But there's like Ms. Jones, she wasn't even on the website, and she's been a planning commissioner for 2 months. There's just such a lack of management and just low standards, and I've never seen anything like it in Palmdale's history. You guys have to hold staff accountable. This is a bad project. There should be these shouldn't have 3 dwellings across the street from a single family home. There should be a block wall blocking this whole project off from the neighborhood. It's just common sense. You don't have to really be smart. It's just there has to be common courtesy to the residents that live here, who've already invested here. We've already heard many stories that this developer has low standards because the city allowed it. We don't want this. We do not want to allow this. Please take the time to look what I put down and meet with the residents at a schoolhouse near projects, not all the way to City Hall.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zink. Okay, next speaker.
This says resident of affected area, but does not have a name.
Good evening, planning commissioners and staff. We're residents of the adjacent neighborhood, and some of our neighbors who will be very affected by this along 50th Street, the south end of it, that end goes into and out of Avenue R are affected, and we've gone around the neighborhood and not one of them received any notice of this, but the traffic along 50th Street that all these would feed into is abysmal right now. It's a speedway. It's 50, 60 miles an hour, and they don't stop. In the past, we've asked the city to put in stop signs along 50th, and they say, oh no, nobody's died yet. Really, seriously, just insolent. There's a lot of points to make here. First of all, no concrete tile roofs, which are proven to stop forest fires and starting into houses. All the fire departments say that. You can't use asphalt. It's in the code, Palmdale City Code. You can't have composite asphalt roofs. Why put it on this ghettoization? When I use the word ghetto, I mean low value, cheaply done. It's not anything of any race or anything. We know it means it's bringing down the value of the community, and some of these people's houses are worth $700,000. It's their life investment. We can't walk along 50th Street East with dogs and with old people and with grandpa because of the high traffic, and there's no space there. The road is narrow, and if somebody's parked on either side of the street, then 2 cars can't even pass. There's no guarantee at all. There needs to be in perpetuity for any ADU and JADU that they are going to be rented out and not accretion into the whole square footage of the house. The city already recently started, I believe it's 25% of the lot size, whether it's stacked up or whether it's a ranch or a combination of the both. And this would totally overturn that, and a bad precedent for neighborhoods like ours. Very bad precedent. Well, if you gave it to him, we want it too. So what good is the zoning that's decreasing the density for other people? You all got an email from a group of people yesterday, and I hope you've read it. It has a lot more. There are tons more here. Even the sign is inadequate. Its letters are 1 inch high. I got out and measured them.
Thank you, ma'am.
There's
Sorry,
no
if
notice
we
in
give
the
you 5
neighborhood.
seconds, we have to give everyone 5 seconds.
Next speaker.
Just for one moment, Chair, I'd like to remind the members of the audience to please be respectful of the views expressed by all speakers, staff, and members, and not excessively clap, cheer, whistle, or otherwise disrupt the orderly conduct of the meeting.
Thank you very much for a recap there. Okay, our next speaker.
Jackie Cardone.
It's me. I am a homeowner and I was severely affected. My house is here. They started here. I've contacted them, no answer, no email. They did at first when they were first building. I was at a cul-de-sac as well as everybody else. I wish they just close it off. I have a 9-year-old and a 10-year-old. I now cannot open any of my windows this way, any of my windows this way, because the neighbors can see into my home. So my privacy has been stolen. My boy's privacy has been stolen. My son is sitting there. He is not allowed to go out of my home anymore because cars go 50, 60. They don't stop. I've yelled at people, please slow down. Like everybody else said, there's a lot of land. They need to go look for build somewhere else. You know, they don't live here. We're the homeowners. I have trash in my house that my boys pick up. I've gotten a warning from Waste Management because my neighbor is not throwing her trash in the recycling. So I have to deal with this. They don't answer. They don't, like I said, call us back. So I'm just with all my neighbors. Close it off, put a wall on the 2 streets that they opened up. Like I said, I lost my privacy. Oh. I mean, I'm just reiterating what everybody else said, you know. Homeowners take a lot of pride in our home. They're renters. They don't pay taxes. We pay taxes. I don't know if he's the builder. He's sitting there nicely in his suit. I'm sure he doesn't live in Palmdale. I'm sure he's not going to go build in his neighborhood. I wish he would. Like I said, there's a lot of land. Go look somewhere else. Please, all of you guys, help us. Close off our neighborhood, and I mean, we'll be fine with it, but no more building the little houses that they have. They are low income, they are Section 8, and I mean, there's gonna be a lot of crime. And like I said, my boys are not allowed to come out if I'm not outside sitting with them anymore. That's it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cardone. Next speaker.
I didn't fill one out, my wife did. My name's Joel Stevenson.
So we have a few other.
Oh, you got
Yeah,
two
the
others?
speaker
Okay,
slip.
let them go. It's just an apartment complex, that's all it is.
Jack,
You'll get a chance, sir.
Jackie Cardone.
Oh, I just spoke.
Michael Parker.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Michael Parker. Me and my wife Janet just moved from Cleveland, Ohio. It was a relocation for work. We came and we visited Palmdale as a place to purchase a home and live. And we did that back around June or July. And we moved in November, and to our surprise, this whole development is now behind where we just purchased a house and spent a lot of money for it. Not being one of the original owners, we did pay a high upscale for to get into living in Palmdale. We could have lived any place else in LA. But some of the people I work with, they actually live out here, they enjoy it. Even though there's a small commute for me, it's still a nice place. I like being in the desert. However, that original development plan seems like it's for like 65 houses, and you want to pack 127 houses, low-income housing units into that. That doesn't make sense for your community. That doesn't make sense for every other reason that everybody spoke here. This entire community, when we purchased our house from the owners, I really didn't go through the house as much as my wife did. I talked to the previous owner. I asked her, what was the neighborhood like? What are your neighbors like? That's the reason we moved to Lily Way and Fuchsia Lane. So I really would like it if you would really consider, maybe think about it from the outside looking in, just exactly what you're doing in your city's development. Because from my point of view, where I came from, I would have never allowed this. So, again, everybody have a nice evening. Thank you for inviting us here.
Thank you, Mr. Parker. Appreciate your comments.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
just if you could remind people to speak into the microphone, because it's
Okay.
being recorded, you can't hear it on the video or on TV.
Will do. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please speak closer to the microphone. Next speaker.
There are no more speakers.
Okay.
I don't know.
Trying to speak, but my English is not good because I live in a 50 street in Palmdale.
If there are more speaker slips, please go ahead and submit them to the clerk, please. And just a reminder that each person gets 2 minutes. Jose?
You have a translator for me?
Yeah, I speak, but I'm not really good, so
Oh, okay.
I
You're
can
good
try.
then.
Okay. Okay, the problem is the same with my house.
What's your name? What's your name, sir?
Behind.
Your name, sir?
Jose.
Jose, gotcha. Okay.
Okay. This is saying we start construction. I need to go to wake a little bit early because when it close, I need to go to all the way to Avenue R. My job is in Victorville, so I have to work. I start wake up maybe 1 hour late, early, and when I go there, so sometimes I go late. But the problem is not a problem. It's this construction there. The new neighbors, you got my house value is go down. And then all the thing, I start to moving because I got the house like 4 years ago. When somebody started, I was living close to Avenue S and 70th Street. They make all the track over there to their, I don't know, Section 8, I don't know. So I see too many cars over there, traffic, and I see the bad people around there. So I just try to move it to the, close to the desert because I don't want a problem with the people living there, the rent people. This is I don't want to just make all the buildings over there and there. And then I start to moving all the time to my house. I want to live comfortable, but I start to make a business. I had to move, I don't know where, the next time. So this is my problem with this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Okay, we have new speaker slips.
The last name is Welch.
Okay.
So yes, I'm here. I just wanted to basically reiterate what everybody else was saying. I've been here since I was 18, and it says right here, City of Palmdale, a place to call home. That's what I thought when we bought over there in that community, that it'd be a place that was family friendly and able for my kids to go out and ride their bikes and play. I have 5 children, and I want to say again that I really would like for our community to be separated, because it's not fair that basically really, and they have I noticed over there to protect them for things being stolen, but it would also be able to track their traffic. Most of their traffic for who lives in that area, they're coming in through our community, and that's not fair. That needs to be handled, because our children could go outside and get hit. Also, police activity, they've been over there constantly, I would say like every other weekend or weekday or something, there's something going on. Also, I have neighbors, and I've also had an issue where I've talked to them and they said that they would raise the gate to talk to me about raising my back wall, only to then just go and have my calls ignored. And I felt like they was just doing it to pacify neighbors who wanted basically to keep our privacy. So I have the neighbor the people who are in back of me who moved in, their children are climbing my gate. I don't have a dog. I wanted to get one, but now I'm scared because I don't want to get sued. They're climbing over my fence, and again, trash is coming in. The same thing, I'm not opening my windows because I feel like either they're gonna look in to see what I have, or, just feel like you just don't have privacy anymore. So that should have been handled. So that's all I really wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Ms. Welch. Okay, next speaker slip.
Tina Hughes.
I'm sorry I don't have a voice.
Okay.
Wendy.
And speak close into the microphone.
Okay, so before all this started, we had some ladies looking into the Joshua trees in the bushes next to my house where they want to build now. And they told us not to worry because it was endangered species living in the Joshua trees and the bushes, and that it wouldn't affect our site. So 6 months ago, they came back looking at the bushes. So my husband went back over there and said, I thought it wasn't going to happen. And she says, well, money speaks. Meaning they're going to kill these endangered species that are living outside our house in these Joshua trees and bushes. And I don't think that's fair. I Googled it. And they have a right not to be destroyed or killed for demolition of a new housing project. Okay? When I look out my window, I see sunrise with Joshua trees and a mountain full of snow. It's beautiful. It's my home. I was almost 40 before I could buy my house. And now you're taking that away from me. I live by myself a lot of times because my husband works nights. I have a child with a heart defect and I am a severe diabetic. I want to feel safe in my home. And right now, I don't feel safe. And I'm asking for you guys to please take this into consideration. I work very hard, and my husband has to commute about 60 miles each way, back and forth to work. And this was the only place we could afford. And we both have good jobs. So I am please asking you guys to take into consideration, we already gave up half of our field. Now you want to take the other half. When is it enough? There's so much land out here. Why are you doing it to us? Please find another place, please.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Hughes. Next.
Deborah Thomas.
Good evening. I'm Deborah Thomas. As to the issues that's been brought up, I am in agreement with everything that they said. However, the biggest issue that we personally have is our safety. We saw the community coming into an existence. We are one of the original homeowners. The gate, as they say, you can almost reach out and touch the homes. We had no idea that on one lot of property they had the opportunity to put 3 single dwelling places on one lot of land. Since they've come, they did work with my husband and I particularly to help clean up the disaster that was created, and I appreciate that. However, the living conditions, they're very unsafe for someone to be that close to us. The height of the fences, as they said, aren't safe for us at all. I understand, I think I got an understanding that someone said when our complex was built, it should have had a minimal of 2 exits, and we only have 1 for the whole Beezer project that was put there, and this would help accommodate the minimal exits that we need, legally. But if you could consider, the fact that all of these things couplate an unsafe living condition for all of us. I understand that, the principle of some of the things that they spoke on prior to me coming up here, but please consider our safety, our ages. Most of us are seniors. I'm a disabled vet myself, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thomas. Thank you for your service. Next speaker slip.
Yora?
You say Leora?
Yora.
Dora? Y-O-R-A?
Good evening, my name is Yora Sakopla. So I am here because I'm supporting my neighborhood and our community. And I think we are all in the same page that, well, at least for me, safety is my number one concern. My husband is a mail carrier, so I just heard a lot of bad stories about low income apartments. He delivers in low income, like Section 8. Let us say it that way. But our concern here is the safety. There might be concern about the increase of crime or disorderliness, although, research says that is a misconception, but that is our concern in our neighborhood. And definitely the arrival of the low income could trigger the gentrification processes, potentially displacing longtime residents or changing the neighborhood's character. Second, the property value. So we bought the house in there just like how they're saying it. This is our life investment. So it's a beautiful community, and adding those, low income, you know, people is gonna affect the reputation of that neighborhood. Also, there could be worries about adding pressure on local services such as schools, healthcare facilities, and public infrastructure. And negative stereotypes or biases towards low-income residents may lead to social tension or discrimination within the neighborhood. That's it.
Thank you very much, Ms. Sokopla. Next speaker slip.
There are no more speakers.
Okay.
So now we have the applicant.
Oh,
Do you have a speaker slip? Dan Thomas?
Dan Thomas, come on down. 2 minutes. Please speak into the microphone.
Okay, good evening, everyone. First of all, I am one of the original purchasers of a property that's in that area from Beezer at this time. Palmdale, as all my neighbors and we love the area. Now, what we have now, I don't have anything against low-income individuals, but the type of individuals that have been put in the neighborhood as of this time, I have a corner lot. Particularly, I love the corner lot because you get to see everything. Number one, it blocked my view. For the back, it became a safety issue, which my wife injured. The window that they put up in the back looks directly into my sliding glass door. I'm like, what is this? This is not a good thing. The other day, I'm walking out. I got a line of dog doo all along the side of my fence now, which I never had before. My other neighbors, we respect each other's property. I never had that issue before. Shopping carts. I have shopping carts in front of my house. I can't even park my car because of shopping carts that are out there. This here has to come to a stop. And now you want to add more. That's not good. I mean, and as our council here, we're looking for you to do the right thing for us in our neighborhood. We enjoy one another. We have good times. Most of my neighbors I knew. I'm one of the guys that's on the corner. When I'm in my yard, I wave at everybody when they come by so they know who I am. But the people that come through there, flying. I mean, I'm waiting. Slow it down. We got kids out here that like to play. And they're coming through. I mean, some are peeling rubber when they're coming out of that complex, coming through the neighborhood alongside my house. I can't go for that. That's not good. No good at all. It's an unsafe issue. And I really hope that you guys would do something and turn against this. I'm not for it at all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thomas. We appreciate your input. Okay, is
Okay,
that?
and that should conclude our
That
speakers.
concludes our speakers. So we will welcome the developer for the project.
Chair Henderson, Commissioners, thanks for having me here today. I'm here to answer any questions you may have about our proposed project. I have spoken with some members in the audience today, and we do try to do a good job of being a good neighbor. I understand a lot of the concerns we've heard about, the similar concerns, not only for the affordable housing projects that we're developing, but also our market rate projects. We got some really concerned neighbors about those as well. And I can tell you that we do hire a professional management company to manage these communities and maintain these communities. We're in a transition period on this particular project because we're still constructing. So that management company hasn't come on board fully yet. But once we're leased up, we will have the management company on board full-time managing and a place for people to go to. But I understand the inconvenience with construction and everything that comes with that. But I'm here to answer any questions that you may have about this proposed project that we have on the agenda today.
So you've heard all of the comments from the neighbors, and I mean a big one is the mitigation for the dust during construction.
Yes.
I mean isn't that in our development guidelines? And you don't have water trucks out there watering this stuff down. I mean that's a requirement for construction, correct? So how do we mitigate this issue with the dust?
I can answer that. So we are required to submit a dust control plan to the Antelope Valley Air Quality Management District. And then in that plan, we outline how we're going to try to mitigate the dust. In high winds, it's very challenging during construction. In some cases, Antelope Valley Air Quality can shut the project down if the winds are too high. We tend to try to mitigate it with hydro seeding and water. I gotta be honest with you, a lot of times subcontractors may not be keeping up with the watering like they should. And that's definitely on us. And we do get calls and we try to respond to them as quickly as possible. We also have helped homeowners that have been impacted by dust with cleanups and things of that nature. I apologize myself if somebody feels like they haven't been heard from us or we haven't been responsive. We try to do our best to be responsive and help when people are impacted that way, and we have done that.
Well, it sounds like your dust mitigation has been failing to this point. So, how do we get accountability for the dust mitigation? I mean, if there's a mitigation condition in there that says that there shouldn't be dust, and these people have dust all over their houses and their windowsills and many blinds, something needs to be done to increase more water. Well, I don't know how this works in construction, but something to enforce this mitigation for the dust.
Yes, but I mean, the best way to deal with it is water and more water, or in high winds shutting down. I mean, that's really the two options. There is, we are required to post dust control signs on the site with a representative. If people are unable to get the representative that's listed, Air Quality Management Control District's number is on the sign, and they're encouraged to call Air Quality Management Control. They will come out and hold us accountable if we're not following our dust control
Does
plan.
your company have like a customer service hotline that neighbors can call when this is happening? Because, for instance, I would think if the dust is coming on a particular day and they call a government agency, Air Quality Management, they may not show up for a certain amount of time. So if there was somebody, your superintendent, whoever's in charge of building the project, is there some place they can call to get immediate mitigation of these issues that they're having with this?
Yeah. So prior to starting construction on the first project, we sent out letters with my number and one of my colleagues' numbers to contact. We have been contacted by multiple people, email and phone number. We also put the superintendent's number on the dust control sign. And he's also posted in our construction trailer once we get under construction. During heavy grading, we don't have a trailer on site because we're stabilizing the ground. So it could be a little more challenging there, but we do have multiple ways of being contacted. I give my personal cell phone on those numbers and my email address.
And now, are you meeting with the community members as things go on so that you can get their feedback and help?
I've talked to a number of the community members. We've met at community members' houses personally. We've helped with cleanup with some community members. It's obvious to me that some have felt that they haven't been heard, and I apologize for that because that's not our intention. We want to, like I said, try to be as good a neighbor as possible.
So I think that would be good practices, just because we're all together. I mean, everybody, would like to see these projects come in, a quality project, and not have, just number one, right off the bat was the dust. And then the walls. I mean, what is the roofs? Well, one at a time. No, I'm sorry. The height of the walls. The height, that's one thing.
We paid to add
Okay.
extensions on our walls.
Ma'am, I got I'm gonna go down the list one at a time. I hear you. The height of the walls. So they're saying, so what are we at, 5 feet? I mean, what is the guideline?
6 feet. 6 feet.
Are these walls 6 feet?
Yeah, the walls around the neighboring existing communities are 6 feet.
So could it be possible where you're abutting the existing neighbors, what is it, the Beezer community, is that what you're against? Where you're abutting there to have, can we go higher with walls?
The highest that you could go is 7 feet with a minor exception, which would require an additional approval.
Okay, so, so that's the highest we can go, but we're doing 6, we're already doing 6? Okay, because it sounds like, with you pushing these setback, or squeezing these setbacks so tight, and them being so close, you would think there'd be some mitigation to help compensate for that. If you're at 3 feet from the property line with your ADUs, I'm assuming it's the ADUs that you're pushing to the edge.
Right, we are not, state law only allows you to go to 4 feet. We're not allowed to go any closer to that.
Okay. And you're going to 4 feet.
But 4 feet at the absolute minimum.
If I could please interrupt, the item on the agenda tonight is the agreement and the tentative map. They will submit a subsequent subdivision development plan.
Okay.
Where we will look at the setbacks and design and things of that nature.
Great, okay, so, the point I'm trying to get at, you heard all these people talking. And when we get to that point, to that next step, just listen to what they had to say. We're only here slicing up a piece of land into little pieces. We have nothing to do with the rest of those development standards. That's gonna be the next step in the process. Just, be cognizant of, the neighbors and, what their issues are. Pay attention to what they're saying, I would hope. And, I would hope that, you would be a good neighbor to do that.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
Okay, other commissioners have any comments?
I have a comment. Was there any endangered species in the vacant land out there?
Yeah, so we had to do, as part of our CEQA analysis, there was studies done for sensitive habitat species. We have Joshua trees, obviously, those have to be mitigated through California Department of Fish and Wildlife. There is a stream bed, remnants of a stream bed that we need to mitigate. So we have to get a stream bed alteration agreement through CDFW. And then there's a couple of potential species that we're gonna have to survey for. Initial review on the bio studies wasn't that they were not present, but we need to survey for them prior to doing any construction activities, and that'll be part of our mitigation monitoring program. It's part of the CEQA requirement.
Okay, just, some things that the members of our community have,
expressed in regards to, it said speeding cars and making it very unsafe for them. Is there any way we can mitigate that? Does traffic know what we can do about that? About speeding cars into the neighborhood?
Our traffic engineer is here to answer any of those type of questions.
All right.
I'm Jay excuse me. I'm Jay Nelson, the city traffic manager for the city of Palmdale. Came to the city a couple of years ago. We are in the process right now of completing our local road safety plan for the city of Palmdale. We'll be bringing that to you in June or sooner. That has a traffic calming toolbox in the local roadway safety plan. Historically, the city council adopted an ordinance that does not allow speed bumps in the city of Palmdale. We are revisiting that, and there will be a speed bump program in the new local road safety plan as that comes forward to the city. A lot of talk was made about traffic. Right now, there's two accesses to the existing subdivision, one out to Palmdale Boulevard through 50th Street East, and they can also head south to get to Avenue R, R4, and other streets. So they have two accesses now. It will be better with the new development. Will be conditioned to build a traffic signal on Palmdale Boulevard and 52nd Street. So anyone that wants to turn left out of the subdivision will have a protected left turn movement onto a busy street, which will make it safer for the neighborhood. And anyone that's going towards Victorville or to the east would then have a left turn signal, left turn lane to get into the subdivision. So it will reduce some traffic from 50th by having a second access onto Palmdale Boulevard. It's a planning issue. These are single-family lots, but it's California law that makes it mandatory. You can build 2 ADUs on any single-family lot. It's not a Palmdale standard. That's a state law. The city can't stop that.
Right. So this new phenomenon that you're saying with putting the three properties or the ADU and the junior ADU is something City of Palmdale has no control over.
And we cannot, when we do the traffic analysis and the environmental analysis, state law requires that we look at the single-family home, and the rest is to help address providing more housing in California, so it's exempt from those reviews.
Or the state mandate. Now, they mentioned about the speed going by. The speed limits, I mean, is that something?
Speed limits are statutory in residential neighborhoods of 25 miles an hour.
I think 50th Street is one that they said was people were racing on.
There's no way, well, it's only 1 block long and then it bends. So that in the link between Palmdale Boulevard and the subdivision, there's no way they could go 50 miles an hour there. Further south they can, it's a longer straight section. And one of the things, if you look at the site plan with the way it's built, designed out, we put cul-de-sacs and T intersections. Statistically, when you have 4-legged intersections, you have a lot more conflict points than a T intersection, and T intersections are safer. So we're designed the whole layout of the subdivision with T intersections. We purposefully have had that first T intersection further away from Palmdale Boulevard, and in our traffic calming toolbox and in all the new subdivisions, we look at putting bulb outs like we're doing on 10th Street East here to make the pedestrian distance shorter, and by narrowing the roads and having parking on both sides, those are key things that help reduce speeds. But the problem we have in Palmdale, we have lots of commuters that commute 60 miles, they're in a hurry. Since COVID, speeds have went up on every street in Palmdale. Bad drivings went up, and we're doing what we can to address it, but we can't control how residents drive. I mean,
one of the residents mentioned that there was some unlevel streets around there. Are you familiar with that?
We have pavement issues all over the city. We try to address those in the worst case, one of the worst cases, and fix them. And I haven't looked at every street in the city.
If they called the planning department
they can call our maintenance department or me, and we'll take a look at it and repair pavement as quick as we can.
Where there's grade issues, and that will get addressed. Any other questions for traffic?
So, Dean,
Yeah.
Chair Henderson, it looked like the applicant had a follow-up to that for the uneven
Okay.
pavement.
Come on up with the uneven pavement.
To address the uneven pavement, so the Department of Public Works doesn't allow us to come to full lift until the project's completed. So we have to keep the street down 1.5 inches. And then once all the units are completed and we get C of Os, we put a final cap on those streets. And that's just in case any utilities need to be installed or something has to happen. We're not digging back into a brand new street. So right now, we're on schedule to pave the streets in the first week of April to do the final cap on the streets.
Okay, so final cap's coming in April.
And it's, we purposely do not want them to do the cap until construction's over, because they mess up the pavement with the construction. This way, as soon as they finish the construction, they have a clean surface and it will last a lot longer, because now there's not construction traffic on it.
Okay, a solution coming soon on the grade.
Okay, so the second question was there was privacy issues. You said we're going to do something about a wall, like raising the wall.
Well, that's in the development
Yeah.
section. I mean, I think they've made all of their concerns known.
Mhm.
I think when it comes back to staff and they're working on the development of the project, those are items that are going to be addressed.
Okay. So we did the dust. We did traffic coming in the neighborhoods. Safety. Said that there is safety issues in regards to the development coming into spilling over to the single family home residents.
I don't think we really have any
Yeah, we don't have control over that.
any control over safety. So let's see here. We have the walls, the Joshua trees. There's a Joshua tree mitigation ordinance about that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Fence heights they'll address during the development. The roofs. Don't we have an ordinance that requires tile roofs? Wasn't that 1978?
We do, and as part of the density bonus law, they're allowed to ask for 2 concessions, so that was one of their concessions.
Okay. So that's a state mandate that if they designate a certain number of units for low-income housing, that they can get a get-out-of-jail-free card?
Well, not a get out of jail free card. They are, Soph can speak to this, she's here, our housing director. But they have the ability to, because they're giving us 10%, they have ability to ask for 2 concessions, 10% of affordable housing.
So it's a state mandate.
Correct.
We must comply or we get in some kind of bad trouble. Okay, you said that you had a housing person that could address. These are laws that our state legislature passes. So, yeah, we don't like those laws either.
Hi, Sophia Reyes, Director of Neighborhood Services. And yes, state law dictates what the density bonus agreements may have in the way of concessions or waivers based on the amount of affordable housing that they are providing. So if it's 10%, it can be, or 20%, they can have 1, 2, 3. 100%, they can have 4 concessions, and they can have unlimited waivers.
Oh, wow. So, since they're only designating 10% of their project, they got 2 bonus
And they're asking for 2,
items.
only 2 items.
If they had more than 10%, they could ask for more bonus items.
Correct.
So then, by only having 10%, I guess
We're not asking for.
not getting beat up too bad.
We're not asking for too many.
State mandate means. Okay, so anyways, we won't please, we don't want to talk from the chairs, please. Any other questions?
Last one of our residents said trash and squalor has become an issue. Is there any way the developer can help address that in regards to trash and squalor?
Yeah, absolutely, we can address it. So I know that during construction, you know, with the winds and stuff like that, some debris is blown into the existing, or the neighborhood to the east, and the winds tend to blow west to east. And we've, you know, policed that. We actually have a maintenance and trash removal company that works permanently on the site. But if there's additional issues, we'll have our field superintendent go and police that immediately. I didn't realize that that was a problem.
I know I drove down 50th Street East today, and the whole 50th Street was stopped for tumbleweeds, because there were so many tumbleweeds going back and forth. I mean, I don't know how we can't stop that. I mean, it's the wind, but do you put up some sort of fencing in while you're under construction that would kind of catch some of that?
Yeah, we do put up screen fence when we're constructing for security purposes. It doesn't catch everything. We need to actively police, and having the community tell us where there's issues helps us in that. But we can definitely be more active and look for that preemptively.
Okay, so again, as the development conditions are drafted, we're gonna be thinking about all of these issues, right? And those will go into our development conditions of construction. All right, any other questions over here? We cover it all? Okay, again, meeting with the neighbors would be a great kind of like ongoing MO for you guys to work with, because we want everybody to be happy. And if they're telling you the issues, you may not know the issues. I mean, they may tell you things you didn't realize, and maybe you could do something to stop that. Having an open communication with them, and again, maybe like a hotline they can call and communicate their issues, that would really help everybody be addressed. So anyways, okay, where are we? Any other questions from the commissioners? No? Okay, one.
Turn on the mic, please.
My bad. When they do have the concerns about the dust coming in and things of that nature, and they do call, who makes the decision of either stopping for the day or helping clean some of that stuff up? Like, where does that final decision come from?
Generally, the way that we normally escalate is if somebody has a complaint, we immediately call the field superintendent to go, you know, handle it. And usually that means additional water trucks, because that's usually dry soil that's getting blown. We've called back and actually met with people at their home, and we've gotten pictures. People have brought us into their home and showed us dust accumulation, so we totally get it. And we've actually helped folks with cleaning costs, and you know, sent people to go clean up and stuff like that. And we're totally willing to do that kind of stuff.
Now, is that usually same day? Like if they
We
call at
try,
a certain
well,
time?
to go deal with the dust immediately, yes, is as soon as we receive the call. Meeting with somebody face to face, usually make an appointment, but once we get a complaint, we jump right on it and get it to the superintendent, who should get the contractors to police it and improve the situation. And I got to be honest with you, it is very challenging when you're in a you know, what we call an infill type of project, where you have a community right next to you and you have super high winds. That's not an excuse, and if we're falling short, we need to implement some things to do better, and we will.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, if we're all done here, are we all done? All right, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And commissioners, any further discussion? That's a traffic issue.
I'm not trying to speak out of turn, it's my first time attending. It's just saying that was one of our main concerns, because we feel like it.
Okay, all right, ma'am. So we can't speak from the audience, but we will ask traffic again about that, traffic engineer. They were talking about closing off streets, was it closing off streets to the adjacent community? Okay, so not connecting their community to the new community. Do they have to be connected, or can they be detached from each other somehow?
But this is, as I understand it, Brenda, is the second phase of an existing development that was already approved. So it was designed with those roads to be connected. We would not meet the traffic signal warrant at Palmdale Boulevard and 52nd if it's not connected. So then you would have poorer access to the existing development if they weren't connected, and you'd have no signalized access onto Palmdale, which makes it more dangerous too.
Correct, and it's important to note that these properties are zoned single-family residential 3, and Jay, jump in if I'm wrong, we do want our roadways to connect and not have a one-way, one-out. So I think what I'm hearing is that this should be treated like a multifamily, and it, unfortunately, we cannot due to state law. This is still a single-family residential development.
Another one of them state mandates. Okay.
But the layout for the street has been evaluated, and I understand their social concerns and other concerns, but the traffic functions well with an access to the south, to Avenue R, and to the north, and two accesses to the north, to Palmdale Boulevard. So anyone that wants to go east of the existing project and the proposed project now has a traffic signal when the development is completed. And if people want to go west and it's too hard to make the left out, they will actually be driving through this neighborhood that's going to be built to make the left to get out on Palmdale Boulevard safely.
So there's going to be additional mitigation that's not there yet.
Right, they're not going to build the traffic signal. They can't occupy their last homes until that traffic signal's built.
So traffic signals, turn lanes that both block
intersection
going
improvements.
directions,
Correct, yes.
and like center medians on the turn lanes. Or?
I would have to go back and look at
Okay.
the plans, but
So so there's traffic mitigation that's just not there yet.
Correct.
That is coming to help kind of offset some of these issues, and really we can't block it off because that's an issue with the fire department and ingress and egress and a whole bunch of
ideally
other
we
issues.
always want a minimum of 2 accesses. So
Right,
if we
you have
blocked
to
it
have
off,
2
this development
accesses
would
in
not have
case of
2 accesses.
emergency or whatever. I understand that. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, commissioners, I'm sorry, we can't speak from the gallery.
Before, I'm asking if anybody's allowed that already spoke, if they're allowed to come up and have a rebuttal for any of the comments that were made.
Well, we closed the public hearing already, but there's still the opportunity again to, I mean, this is just, right now, the point we're at, we're just taking a square and carving it into smaller squares. And then there's,
Asking you not to adopt a resolution.
Yes,
but there's,
postpone it so the community has another say.
but
We
there
will
is
not be
still,
speaking from the audience,
Yeah,
thank you.
please.
Let them come back up and
I will,
what that
so
crap
what we are
said.
considering tonight is the tentative map and the agreement. The agreement will be going to city council where you could go voice your appointments.
At a city council meeting.
so, okay, all right, so we closed the public hearing. Commissioners, any further discussion? Okay, all right, so commissioners, can I get a motion and a second for item number 7, this B, 7B?
I motion.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Jones. Do I have a second? No seconds? Motion second. I'll second for now. All right, so let's show a vote then.
Begin voting.
Did everybody vote? All right, let this record show motion passes with 3 yes votes and 1 no and 1 abstain. Was there an abstain?
Can I go back to it?
Can we see that vote again?
It was 3
Or was that the old
yeses,
one?
1 no, and 1 abstain.
Who voted for the people?
Who's the?
Vice Chair said no.
They're
Who
working
is
on
that?
it. They're working on it, guys.
to ask people to leave, and we don't wanna do that, so please
Yeah.
vote it out.
He's working on it.
We could have postponed it for 130 days so the groups could have met with each other at a schoolhouse and discussed it more. There's no rush to do things.
Please, 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 please.
Disrespectful.
Okay, I can read the vote out. I'm not sure if it's gonna display on the screen, but we have 3 yes votes, 1 no vote, and 1 abstain. So we have a yes vote by Chair Henderson, a no vote by Vice Chair Lees, an abstain vote from Commissioner Olivares, a yes vote from Commissioner Lujan, and a yes vote from Commissioner Jones.
Okay. We'll move on to next item. Where did the agenda go? Okay, on to item 8, staff communications. Does staff have any updates for the commission? Staff communication?
No, nothing new to report at this time.
Nothing new for staff communication. Okay, planning commissioner communications. Do any of the commissioners have any updates to report? Okay, so we are adjourned to the meeting of Thursday, April 11th, 2024 at 7 p.m. in the City Council chamber. And we are, oh, whoops. Okay.